This street is really strange because you can't see beyond 20 or 30 meters. It's a snake-like street. Things I don't like about Japan. Today we are here to talk about that. I've already made a video about the things I like the most, and today I'm going to talk about the ones I detest. First of all, I think it would be the issue of extreme privacy. This isn't one that bothers me that much. I mean, it's kind of... yeah, let's just say I forced it in to make it 7, because it's more unsettling that way. In Japan, there is a very extreme level of privacy. I mean, to the point that it's bothersome. For example, sometimes it's hard to be on the street and take photos and images of the street, of the people. That's a whole issue, but how can I put it? It's something more or less respectable, it's okay. But, for example, when I get some permission from YouTube to record something they say, please, take care that other clients do not appear on the camera, and this and that. But it's something that the Japanese think is okay, not everyone. But many believe that if you take a picture of them on the street, you're stealing their soul, and that's already annoying. By the way, I'm in the Nippori neighborhood. That's a very popular area for street food, but it attracts crowds. I expected fewer people here, allowing me to walk and talk mask-free, but there's still a lot of foot traffic. I mean, this privacy thing, it has its positive side, and it's the fact that nobody messes with you. But at the same time, there's the side that people might not approach you. They don't talk to you out of respect for others' privacy. I mean, it has its balance. That's why I don't think it's so bad. And let's get to the point. There are many contradictory cases. There are many. But let's say the rule is not to bother the other, so as not to disturb the other's privacy. Now, what is the extreme point for me in the matter of respect for privacy? Loneliness itself. One reason is not wanting to bother other people. They don't call them, don't ask if they want to go out for a drink or spend time with someone. It can get to that point. It's also one of the problems with the issue of privacy. One doesn't want to bother the other because the other might not want to be with them. And in the end, both sides can end up alone. And, I repeat, it's an extreme case, but it exists. Physical contact. Physical contact is missed, isn't it? Because, the Japanese have a kind of reputation for being cold people. Yes and no. They have their style of warmth that, for a Westerner, might seem like a lot. But there is a lack of warmth when it comes to physical contact. My old lady, for example, the last time she came to Japan, she says, "Oh, I love Japan, everything is very beautiful. But here not even the grandchildren kiss you. Nobody hugs you, only you." And of course, as one is used to, for example, being Argentine, that among men we greet each other with a kiss. And it's like here there is no physical contact. When you greet a person, it's hello from a distance. Hello. Is it good? For pandemic matters, yes, but outside of that, it's a drag. You say hello or, "It's been a long time since I've seen you." Oh? And among girls, maybe they do like this. Hello, long time no see, and they do like this. The hugs are very rare. Hugs feel very strange. There may be some isolated case, but sometimes, but very little. The truth is that there is very little. In fact, if people watch anime movies and such, or even acted cinema, many times you see that no one hugs. But, well, it's okay, it doesn't affect me that much, but it is very strange. I will never get used to the fact that I can't, not even give my hand to people, and that's hard for me, it's strange. With my Argentine friends, I greet them with a kiss, so don't bother me about it. And for the Japanese? If anyone looks at us strangely, I don't think anyone will look at us strangely because they will understand that we are from another culture. Yes, yes, it's a cemetery, the Untitled Cemetery. The place is very nice, huh? The work culture also has its positive and negative side. The positive is that you end up acquiring serious work habits. You end up getting used to being a hardworking person. It's not a country that invites laziness. Let's say the issue of labor exploitation is a completely different issue. Those are more isolated cases. There are no cases of exploitation in itself. But let's say that's not really a characteristic of Japanese work anymore. Japan has that reputation, but that's actually something more from past decades. Up to the 70s. For example, when I start working on a new construction, always on the first day, there is like a kind of talk. Did they tell you what the work was like in the 60s, 70s? And there was a chart showing the number of deaths from work in construction. Not the famous karoshi from death by overwork, but from work accidents. A construction site is a very dangerous place. Nowadays, it's very rare for you to die working. Before, it wasn't rare at all. Truthfully, it was quite common before. The numbers were incredible. Nowadays, safety is more of a priority. And in general work terms, nowadays it's said that family comes first and then work, but it's not quite like that. I mean, you may have read some news not long ago about a politician. I don't know. He was the first to take paternity leave, given that men don't take paternity leave. It's like saying that's something for the woman, something for the mother. The man has to keep working. The right exists, but no one used it. And when someone actually took their leave, it became news. Imagine, the work commitment is very extreme. Even when you get sick, you can end up feeling guilty for missing work. The next topic is what is called Nomikai. Nomikai would be like a meeting to drink. What is getting together to drink? I like to get together to drink with friends and all that. But the thing is that at work there is a terrible alcohol culture. It also depends on the job. I mean, in my case, luckily it's once a year. And I hang out with people I get along with. Everything is cool and I have a good time. But there's a level of alcohol culture that sometimes worries me. For example, the famous salarymen, the office workers, those basically, there are people who go to drink alcohol every day as soon as they leave the office. When you take the train during rush hour, the smell of alcohol on trains is terrible as people return to work. I mean, if you're an alcoholic, Japan might be your ideal country, and if you get along well with your coworkers, even better. But it's very common and acceptable among office workers. It doesn't affect me much. But what's the issue? That basically it's a country made so that it's almost the only way to be social. I mean, it's either drinking alcohol or going to karaoke. When there's more, when we get a bit more intense, right? But, I mean, going to a bar is, let's say, like there's no other option. If you're a teetotaler, you're done. You have no ways of socializing because there's not many gatherings at home, for example. Maybe among students who have little money. Well, yes, they go shopping and gather in a small little apartment, a table with everyone squeezed in, and they have a good time. I totally support that. But in general, the basis of the regulations to make friends is to drink alcohol. Because the Japanese, basically without alcohol, they don't open up, they don't let loose. And that's what leads to the next point, the Tatemae. In Porteño, would it be the pretense, the falsehood? In the video, I discussed my favorite aspects of Japan. I said the Japanese are very honest, but I misspoke. The word I was looking for was honorable, not honest. The Japanese are very honorable, but not honest. The Japanese, basically, will always tell you what you want to hear. Okay, it's a way to avoid conflicts, let's say, right? But it's a thing that without alcohol, they can't be honest, and even then, sometimes with alcohol, they still don't let go enough. They don't let everything out. And that's something that is not good. Tatemae is exactly that. It's about the position or stance one takes. Be as kind as possible. Don't create conflict and give the other person the right. Or give an opinion that is not honest but positive for the other person. And that's something really normal in Japan, the issue of Tatemae. And then there's the hun, which would be the sincere opinion, the real one, which is the least common perhaps. In itself, this list of things are not so serious, except for the last two, which are the ones that really bother me the most. Where's Wally? Where's Wally? Have you seen him? Where's Wally? Subscribe, friend, subscribe. The penultimate point is protocol. Japan is the country of protocols, of formalities, of everything. I mean, it's a point that really affects me as a YouTuber because of the issue of asking for permissions. Look, to give you an idea, the biggest YouTuber in Japan, I mean, I don't know how many millions of followers he must have, but the thing is that he, for example, had to set up a company just to be able to get permissions. Easier. Recording permits for places, because the issue is the following with Japan and the Japanese. Companies, I don't know, specific tourist spots where filming is prohibited, basically they don't allow cameras unless it's for some company. And well, and that's what goes hand in hand, it's bureaucracy. Because for bureaucratic reasons it has to belong to some company and whatever, right? They don't care about your follower count, YouTube subscribers, or view numbers. The important thing is that it's a company, and that there's a legal representative for the place. This is to prevent extreme cases of reckless behavior by public figures, like Logan Paul, for example. I don't know if it comes from a mistrust of foreigners. That's how it is with everything. You have to ask for permission and see if they give it to you or not. I've been rejected to film places many times. Of course, there are cases where nothing happens. Otherwise, I couldn't be a YouTube channel, and in essence, all protocols are based on mistrust. Is that how Japanese people are? Anything related to work tends to come with a serious, cautious attitude. You ask if you can film something, and sometimes they say they need to think it over, or they respond with a surprised, "Oh, really?" When it's about certain things. "Oh, it's not in the employee handbook. Sorry, I'm going to ask the manager." And so those things are very common in Japan. It's very annoying. Or, for example, there's also that, "Can you film?" But it can't be that you don't see anyone's face around, and it's really hard for no one's face to show up. Privacy doesn't really bother me, because basically, if you notice, this whole conversation is more personal. It's about my own stuff, and I'm not mentioning things that people will probably bring up in the comments, like the whale house, the suicides, and stuff like that. I mean, I understand perfectly, but I want to lean a bit more towards what it is personal and not so encompassing of society. I wouldn't consider it a thorough social analysis of the entire country. Rather, what bothers me, what might actually affect me, or what I have experience with. Also, one thing, Japan is the country where everything is forbidden. Everything is forbidden to do. I mean, without going any further, I'm in a huge park and the speakers were saying not to feed the park animals. Then there were signs saying no camping, no picnicking, but there were people picnicking, there were people feeding animals. Because it's impossible to comply with all the rules because one knows they're not committing any crime. And well, it's not like there's a patrol controlling, making sure you're not feeding the animals. But it's a thing that the rule itself is there, that you can't do this, you can't do that. And so on. There are some things that are unbearable. Everything? For what? So they can wash their hands if something happens. Oh, we warned you. But well, okay. At least we know they won't arrest you for feeding animals since it's forbidden, right? The last point for me is the worst of all. Everything that is doctors and medicine, the system itself is not bad, the hospitals are good. What is quite criticizable is the fact that they only work on weekdays and until 5 in the afternoon. Therefore, if I work during regular office hours, if I work a normal, regular schedule, I have to miss work to go to the doctor for anything. But beyond that, the worst thing is the incompetence of the doctors. For me, say what they say. For me, Argentine doctors are the best. I mean, well, the doctors I've encountered have been excellent for me. Whenever I had a health problem in Argentina, they solved it for me. For me, the Argentine doctor is a trench soldier. They might have resource problems, but they're not incompetent like they are in Japan. It's a headache. I mean, you get tested for something and they tell you it's nothing. Then you go to another hospital and they tell you that you do have something. Then they run another test and finally they say, no, everything's fine. So, go home and carry on with your normal life. The number of times Laura and I would have heard the doctor say, it's stress, it's stress. Damn, did she give birth? Something recent, for example, I went to the dentist and they told me, I'm going to prescribe you a medication in case you have pain. Luckily, I don't have pain. But the pill that I had to go with a medical prescription, they were 60 milligram ibuprofen pills, and the instructions said to take one after each meal if you have pain. 180 milligrams of ibuprofen in a day seems like nothing to me, since I'm used to taking 400 and sometimes 600 ibuprofen. I mean, what annoys me the most is that I go to a specialist for something and they end up telling me, no, you don't have anything, it really annoys me. Or maybe they tell you, well, I'll give you some pills, and the pills do nothing. Because they are medications made for Japanese people who are very short and lightweight. Edgar, for example, who is a big guy, went to the doctor for a pain, it had no effect. He went back to the doctor, another doctor attended to him, and they told him. And of course, how is it going to work if you're twice the size of an average person? I mean, that was a problem of medication dosage. And that didn't fit him. There's the protocol, right? People with this problem are given a certain amount of medication for it without taking their body size into account. We already realized that, and even when I was there before, I wasn't that fat, and it was the same. So me? Maybe it's a matter of being used to medications from Argentina, which are stronger. And perhaps the Japanese are used to not so strong medications. But anyway, from many people I know at work, no one likes going to the doctor because sometimes it's useless. For those without problems who can have everything fixed, it's the elderly, because there's a large elderly population. And when you go to a hospital, most are elderly people, and as they are used to, they handle these people's problems in large quantities. It's like they already have experience, but young people, with things that are not so normal among the young, forget it. Forget it. You know? I'm going to make a specific video one day about medical problems I've had, but, well, you already know. This video focuses on the aspects of Japan I dislike, so I won't be discussing the positive things. If you want to know about things that I like about Japan, you can watch this video here. Greetings to you, your family, your pet, and your annoying neighbor. Bye.